Whether in a small town like McAllen on the Rio Grande, or in Chicago, New York, or Los Angeles, it is business. Big business.
Welcome to the Girl Get Visible podcast. This show talks about traffic, marketing, and business. This is for the retailers, the coaches, the course creators, and service providers who want to build a legacy, build authority, and build a brand that people admire. The visible girls who are not afraid to get out of the sea of sameness and to find her tribe. Business owners ready to go from consumers to creators and build an online presence where your tribe can find you. We talk about topics like SEO, content marketing, and business systems, but that's only because our visible girls are ready to do business like a business. Stop hiding in the crowd and get visible.
Girl, get visible. Girl, get visible. Girl, get visible. Girl, get visible.
Hey guys, how are you doing? So today I am doing one of my content creation, everybody gets to see it, episodes of the Girl Get Visible podcast. So if you're listening, hey. If you are watching me on YouTube or Facebook, and Facebook, you're probably like, what's that little intro thing she's got? That's my podcast intro that my YouTube folks are used to, because when I do one of these on YouTube, they're used to seeing that. And now you guys are seeing it on Facebook too. So, because we do everything, we work smarter, not harder. And I tell you guys all these details. Some people like to keep it behind the scenes, like no one knows. I want you guys to know, because I want you guys to know that you can create content easily, right? Without having to do a bunch of different things, a bunch of different places all the time. So today I am batching some content. I'm only doing one of them live, so you guys are gonna have to listen to the show to hear the other ones. But I'm batching some content, and this is one that came up. It's come up a couple of times, and you guys know me by now. When it comes up a couple of times, that is my cue that I need to create content, right? That tells me I need to be saying something out loud, because apparently it is the thing that people are thinking about, talking about, and need to know about, right? So the thing that's been coming up is, where should you put your content? What should be free, paid? And I just threw in there a lead. So this is titled free, paid, free versus paid versus lead. What you need to know and I'm going to talk specifically or more to my course creators and my membership site owners, because y'all my people, right? And because you sell information, right, it's a lot harder to separate what's free information, what's paid information, stuff like that. And I'll tell you who talks about this a lot too. So if you guys want more on this, of course you can ask me, but also Amy Porterfield does a really good presentation. I've seen her do it live a couple of times, talking about, free versus paid. I don't know if she throws in a lead part, but I'm throwing in versus lead, right? And when I say lead, I'm talking about a lead magnet. A lot of people do some type of like written lead magnet thing that they give out, the thing that you say, opt in here to get, like, I've got the SEO beginner's guide. That's like my standard one, but I also have the 101 blog post ideas. My challenges are actually lead magnets. So those, my quizzes are lead magnets. So I've got a couple of different ones that are out there. And I hear a lot of people with, what do I make a lead magnet? What exactly should be a lead magnet? And I'm going to turn on so I can see your comments here. Okay, cool. So I wanted to go live and do an episode about this, because really it's that important, right? It's that important. So no matter where you are, where you see me, I want you guys to get this information and get this part, right? So let's talk about free versus paid. And I talked about this a little bit. If you were in the last challenge, I actually teach this in the challenge. So you guys get a little bit of what we do in the challenge, which the replays are available. So if you were in the last challenge, make sure you head on over and get the information in the challenge group of how you can get those replays, right? Because the replays are dope. I made a podcast episode for it. Like, there's some dopeness going on over there. But back to what we talked about, right? So, and this question, it really originally was not in the challenge, like wasn't one of the things I was going to cover, but I did a Facebook group. Clubhouse room. Gotta remember where I'm at, right? I did a Clubhouse room and someone asked that question. I was like, that's something that I talk about a lot, but let me put it out there so people know. Like, I think it's something that we need to be teaching because it is a very gray-ish area of what should I be putting where, because we sell information and sell our content. There's always the fear that if I make it paid, if I make it free, no one's going to want the paid, or I'm going to give all my good stuff away free and no one's going to want the paid. I'm going to start with that. So I'm going to say that's not true. Right? We're going to dispel that rumor really, really quickly, is that people will still want your content that is free and paid. And most of your free stuff should lead or open the door to your paid stuff. But to be honest, like what I can tell you in an hour or a half an hour or write in, one blog post or whatever is never going to be as much as I cover. I'm sorry, I got my eye. Right? It's never going to be as much as I cover in my full course or in my full training programs, right? Like my SEO training program is the training, which you guys probably heard about when you first listened to this episode. But my my traffic accelerator weekend is two days, 2 full days. So it's probably the good 10 to 12 hours of information, training, or hands-on stuff like that, right? No way I'm going to be able to tell you what we do in those 12 hours anywhere in any of my free stuff, at least not all strung together. And that's another really important part, is that, when people get into your programs and start working with you, they're really looking for the step by step. They're really looking for more of the hand holding. They're looking for, tools and things to help them implement. All of that they are not going to get from reading a blog post, right? All of that they are not going to get from listening to a podcast episode. Even seeing me live or seeing me on stage. I just did Afros and audio this weekend, and boy, did I pack a lot into 20 slides. But I also know, although I packed a lot into it and it was dope and people loved it and had an amazing time, when they go back home and start doing the work, they're still gonna be like, man, what'd she say? Or am I doing it right? Or, I got another question, right? So they're still gonna need that piece of, or want, to do that piece of, I need to work with someone doing this. Or they might just say, I need somebody to do it all for me because I'm not doing all this, right? So there's always going to be that part of content, that part of information that people are going to want you, right? So let's dispel the rumor or the fears that if I don't, if I give this away for free, that somehow no one's ever going to get into my paid products. Now, there is a thing is over delivering. I might be one of those people who do that sometimes. But I'm going to tell you that even when you over deliver, as a person who does it sometimes, even when you over deliver, it might delay the sale because they got like enough to eat right now. But most people still come back hungry. I promise you. And they know how hungry you are because they know it's so good, right? So, you're always going to have something to work with people on. And especially if you focus your programs, and this might be now changing how your courses work. So I'm just going to say that out loud. But if you focus your programs on helping people to do the thing and implement the thing, and you focus your content more on telling them about the thing and little of what the thing is, and really, like, my content, I focus on getting you to embrace the thing, right? If I can get you to embrace SEO, and if I can get you to embrace creating content, then I can get you a program to teach you how to do it, right? But first things first, I got to teach you how to embrace it, right? I got to teach you to want to do it. We got to get you there to that point. So a lot of my content is around that. So think about that your free content is going to be like the step before, the things that they need to know before. It's never going to be too much. Even if you over deliver, there's always going to be people. It's like going through a filter. It's going to be people who want all the free, and then there's going to go down into the people who want like a smaller, like to get the book or something like that. And it's going to go down. It's like, okay, these are the people that want to get into your class. These are the people that want to get into coaching. Like, you'll always have people. And I think when you think that, you create better content because you're less thinking, I gotta buffer or not put in as much information, and you're more thinking, oh, I can give this, and I know, I know people are going to come through this funnel. The other thing to think about, and I actually have a little graphic, so if you're listening to this on the podcast, head over to YouTube so you can see this little graphic. But I'm going to describe it so you don't have to wait to go over to YouTube so you can see it. But this is a slide that I actually used in the content challenge, so I want you guys to see it, because even when I describe it, like I described it that first time somebody asked me, and I know it's probably a lot when I start describing it, but I want to show you guys my free versus paid triangle, because the other thing, like now I'm talking mostly to my course creators and my membership site owners and people who sell their knowledge, but then there's like service-based people, and then there's my SaaS folks, and there's other things, and even depending on what your course exactly does, like if it's actually teaching to do a thing or if it's helping them to make a decision, like some people have like find your big why, right? Which doesn't sound like, well, what am I going to do with that? But it's teaching people to help them make the decision of what they want to do next, right? Which is different than, now that you know your why, like if your why is starting a business, how to start a business course, where I'm going to teach you the steps to starting your business. So the next thing to consider when you're thinking of what should be free versus paid, next thing to consider is that so there's three things, and if you see the triangle, you'll see that there's 3 points. It's a triangle, and in the middle there's the who, right? But there's 3 points to a triangle. There's the what, the why, and the how, right? So like the big why thing, what is my big why? That's giving people the what do I want to do with my life? What do I want to do to move forward? What do I want, right? The how to start a business, that's giving people the how, right? So that's giving people how to start a business, how to do SEO. I have a how to do kind of course, right? The why is a course that would be something like I'm almost going to say a science course, believe it or not. Like, why do we do these things, and really breaking it down. So it's a little more researchy and just trying to understand like the lineage of something or the information about something. I don't know too many people who sell those kind of courses, but they do, right? And so the thing is, so once you put your course in a category, which one of these triangles, the what, the why, and the how, your who is in the middle. So that middle section is always going to be the who. And that's because it's really surrounded around what are you doing for your who. Your who, no matter what, needs to know these 3 things. They need to know what they're doing, they need to know how to do it, and they need to know why they're doing it. Like, how's that going to help them get to their goal, right? Why, right? So if you think about your who needing to know those 3 things, then you put your course, whatever your paid thing is. We start with the paid because we want to get paid, right? Right? So we put the paid thing in one of the sections. So I told you guys that my my courses and all my programs are more of a how. I'm teaching you how to do SEO, how to leverage it in your business, how to create content, how to drive traffic. So everything I'm teaching most people is how. I do a little bit of what, because we might go through like, do you want a podcast, YouTube, or blog, right? So a little bit of what, but most of everything I do is the how, right? So my free content, just like we're talking about right now, my free content generally is around what and why. Because I'm going to teach you how, right? But I got to, like I said in the beginning, I got to first convince you, like, this is the thing you need to do. So why? Why should I do this over doing Facebook ads? Or why should I do this over doing, referral marketing, or, going to marketing events? Why is this important? So I do a ton of content. You guys have seen it. Ton of content on the why. Why are you doing it? I even do even further back, even like why you're starting a business, why businesses help you, like your business, having a business is going to help you, all those kind of things, right? And so a lot of my free content is around that. And then a lot of my other free content, similar to this piece of our content right now that we're talking about, is going to be the what. What exactly am I doing, right? So I'm telling you guys how to decide between, yes, it's a how to decide, but it's what, deciding between free and paid, what's going to go where, right? So that is essentially a what piece of content. So by the time you're done, I've told you why you need to do SEO. I've told you what needs to be free and paid. And your third question is going to be, guess what? All right. You guys, since it's recording, I can't hear you shouting me back. now, right? So I'll be my own shouter. Um, but yes, it is going to be the how. So when you think about your content in these three quadrants, then you can better off determine what's going to be your free and what's going to be your paid. Now, let's flip it for my SaaS company. My SaaS company is a little bit different, right? Because my SaaS company, you don't need to know the how because we're going to do the how for you, right? You just need to know what to write and it's going to kind of do the how and stuff like that. So in that particular case, the why, you still got your same why. So I'm going to say, why you should be blogging, why you should be putting content on your site, why you need to pitch to be on podcasts. Is all things that the SaaS company do, all things that the tool will help you to do. And then the what, in this case, the what is the tool. So I'm not going to tell you but so much in the what because it's going to be about the tool. And then the how, I actually might tell somebody like, here's how you do it without the tool. Right? Here's how you pitch for a podcast, or here's how you find the right audience. Here's how you start a blog post. And then my what is going to be the actual tool. The tool's going to do the what for you, right? What are you doing? What are you writing? What do you need to say? The tool does all of that. What do you need? Like finding good podcasts, writing your pitch letter. We got the what for you. So you see, depending on what you're selling, and sometimes what you're selling might overlap into the other quadrant, but whatever it's in the most, right? Whatever it's in the what, the why, the how, the most, whatever it's in the most, that's where your paid thing is. And then your free stuff needs to tap dance in those other two quadrants. So hopefully that makes a lot of sense. I want you guys, again, since it's recording, I can't see any comments, but I want you guys to tell me, message me or hit me up on Instagram. We share this, like, are you the what, the why, or the how, right? Which one are you going for in your particular content? So I thought that was a really good something that people need to know, because I know not having that answer stops a lot of people because they feel, like I said in the beginning, like they're giving away too much. So now I want to talk about one other thing that goes along with this, and this recently came up. And actually I see it a lot, but I never say it out loud. I tell you, I hold a lot of things. I'm a Virgo, guys. And what that means, if you don't know astrology, not caring about astrology, but I'm very hypercritical. Like I say things and like patterns be out of whack, or things just are not perfect. Like Virgos are supposed to be like perfectionists, right? And we are in our heads a lot. And so what that means is sometimes as I've gotten older, I've got growth, right? With growth, I know that I don't need to say everything that comes to my mind because it's not always necessary. I'm just gonna say that it's always necessary. Might not even always be nice, but it's definitely not always necessary. So I don't always share the things I see that are like, girl, guy, no. Right? So this is one thing that keeps coming up, right? And today I actually said something, so I'm going to say something on the show, right? Is lead magnets that are really blog posts. I pause. Because you're like, what do you mean, Killa? So I told you, like, a lead magnet could be like a guide or a webinar challenge, a list, something that people can do something with that's supposed to help them. So first, let me start with this, because this actually came on a room I was in last night. We're talking about, just give any old piece of your course for a lead magnet. Don't do that, guys, right? A lead magnet is supposed to leave a gap that makes people want the next thing. So if you're just taking a piece of this, like, here's a template and giving it to people, if that template is a template that they're just going to run off with and never need your course, then your lead magnet is probably not the best lead magnet. Unless you sell more templates and now it's going to make them want more templates. But if your template is so you can teach them how to do the thing and you gave them the template, most people are going to go and try to do that template and work with it themselves before hiring you, right? So it's not really a good lead magnet. It's not really leading to your thing. Like, think about lead magnets. It's not about just getting leads in your system, but it's also leading to your thing, right? So a lead magnet is not that, right? And sometimes I've seen people do bloggy post type of lead magnets. Like, I'm trying not to call this person out, but one of the ones I've seen is like 5 tips to do such and such, or 5 tips for inner healing. And it's like, 5 tips? You want me to give you a whole email address? You want me to download a whole PDF, wait however many minutes, probably double opt-in for 5 tips? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, guys. Right? And most people are not doing that. And so what happens is instead of you getting the lead, you actually get the person to run away. You could have gave them those 5 tips, and then if you wanted to, for the lead magnet, gave them a checklist. So like this weekend, I think I told you guys, I talked to Afros and Audio. Normally I give people my SEO guide, which is a pretty good lead magnet. But it's a lot, and I won't even lie, like probably it's a lot. I don't like ebooky type of lead magnets unless it's something really technical that people don't know about, like SEO. Um, Generally, ebook or a guide, not everybody gets through them. So you want things that people are going to get through. What I do, and I'm doing something specific, like I did this talk on SEO and podcasting, was I created a checklist on SEO and podcasting. Right. So here's the things. Now that I told you all these things, here's a checklist of some things to check to see, how your site is doing with its SEO and podcasting. And they're going to check, 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 and check. And what's going to happen? They're going to have some things that aren't checked, right? Because they haven't done them yet. And then they're going to need to get into my next thing, right? Because now they need to take the next step. So you guys see how that would lead to, and the checklist is not how to do each thing. It's these are the things that should be done. Think of it like a grocery shopping list, right? I get a grocery shopping list. I go to the grocery store. A couple of things are left open-ended. First, the grocery shopping list, like if my mom gives me a list or my husband gives me a list, that doesn't tell me where the stuff is in the store. So I need help finding the stuff in the store. That's number one. And then second, even if I get past that thing, right, I come home with all these things. I don't have a recipe first to actually make any food out of it. Like there's some things that are right, like cereal, right? But even cereal, no one's telling me to go get the bowl and the milk if I didn't already know that stuff, right? So now they'll need, what am I going to do with this stuff? Thanksgiving's coming up, or probably just past when this is going to come out. But Thanksgiving's around the corner, around this neighborhood, right? Thanksgiving's around this neighborhood. And so you think on Thanksgiving, you're gonna go get all these groceries, but no one knows. No one like just sits down and says, "Here's how you cook the Thanksgiving meal," right? So if I was a chef and I was like trying to do something around Thanksgiving to help people out, not only I would maybe give them their grocery checklist as a lead, and then my product would be join me for cooking demonstrations so I can help you make some of these things. Right? Because apparently, if you need a grocery checklist, most likely you're not cooking all the time and need some help. Right? And there's always going to be, because remember, like I said before, there's the top of the stuff. There's always going to be people who are like, oh, thanks, I need a grocery list, and just keep it moving. But what you want are the people who want to continue forward. So you open the door for them. There are other people are going to come through, but you open the door specifically for them so they know that they need to come in. Right? So think about what your lead magnet, like what is it helping people to do? Like I really want to help them to get to that, at least that first step of something. And then I will send them into my product, right? Not just, if I was a cooking person, I would not just like 5 ways to make your Thanksgiving dinner better. Like that's not helping. I might read that, like just to get more information, because that's what people do, because that's a blog post. But the lead magnet is going to be a checklist. The lead magnet could even be a map to all of your local grocery stores. That would be hot, right? So, like, or because people, and you think about it too. Now I'm thinking all these ideas for my chef friends, right? You think about it too. If you send your husband grocery shopping for Thanksgiving because you're home doing all the other things, so that might be the one time a year your husband goes, you might be like, and I know I'm being very genderized, I am. Whoever's primary grocery shopper does not go, the non-primary, right? So if you send the non-primary grocery shopper to the grocery store, imagine if you can give that non-primary person a map of that store with the things like cranberry is here, milk is there, eggs over here, don't forget the turkey, get that last so it won't fall out. Like, you can do all these things, right, to help make that trip easier for the non-primary, right? And so that would be your lead magnet. I'm going to help make it easier for the non-primary. And then, my next thing, now we got all the groceries, we did the good job, now we can go and get now we can go and get some recipes and actually do some cooking, right? So you can even sell the recipes, maybe if you don't want to do a cooking demonstration. But the lead magnet, hopefully you guys are getting the point here. The lead magnet is really to help lead the people into what is the thing that you want them to do next, right? In terms of what do you want to do with your business, not what do you want them to do in the process. What do you want them to do with your business next? So that's what your lead magnet is going to do. So That's what I wanted to talk about today. We talked about what should be free versus paid. So remember, you got the what, the why, and the how, and you want to make sure whatever section your product is in, that you cover the other two in your free stuff to help lead them in. And then when you're thinking about your lead magnets, think about something that's going to help them with a next step. I actually think that the days of guides and the days of ebooks are definitely dead, right? The days of guides are going dead, right? Like I'm probably going to get rid of my guide even sometime soon. I really like checklists, fill in the blank type things. Like I've got the 101 blog post ideas, quizzes. People love a good quiz, love a good quiz. And let me tell you what's in common of all three of those, right? Between checklists, fill in the blanks, or lists like that. And if you're going to give a list, it got to be big. Like five, if I would have said 5 blog post ideas, no one would have signed up. No one. Because it's 5 blog post ideas. I had to make it, and I spent a long time because they're like researched blog post ideas. I remember I was in India when I created that list the first time, but I spent like a long time going out making sure I had like some really good meaty ideas, giving examples of each idea to come up with 101. So it was not something. It should be something that takes you a little bit of time, even if it's easy for you to do. It should take you a little bit of time. You would sell that thing, right? I would sell that thing, right? So the reason why those three work so well is because they really help people to do something, right? They help people to take an action and take it quickly. The reason why guides and ebooks aren't doing as well is because you got to read through a whole ebook. If you don't have time to sit down and read through the whole ebook, you never get to the end, you never get to something, you never get to needing the next step. Right. Same thing with the guide. Yes, now okay, you got this guide on how to do things, but if you don't get to the end, you don't, you never get to needing the next step. You never get to that point. So when you're thinking about what your lead magnet should be, think about what are things that are going to make people take an action. A checklist, even a simple, like Amy Porterfield does them all the time. Like even just a simple check, 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 check. Even a simple checklist is telling people that they should have done these things. And it's always leaving a gap of what they did not do. Right? So that's always going to help you out. A quiz, it's going to help them identify, it's going to help them make a very important decision. Where am I? Right? Where am I on the spectrum of things that need to get done? Even the who, like the archetypes, still say, where am I? I don't need to be thinking, even astrology and human design stuff. All of that helps you think, okay, I don't need to do all the things that everybody else is doing. I need to do this. The more you can take somebody from thinking big ideas and all these things running around in their head to thinking small, this is for you, you're going to help them because you're helping to make a big, big decision. It's like when we go into a department store, right? You go into Macy's, even if you go into Burlington, right? You don't just stand at the front door and then just start wandering around in circles, right? You don't do that. You go to your department. Right? What did you come in here for? I came in here for women's clothes. Let me head up to the second floor and go to the women's clothes. I came in here for shoes. Let me head on in the back on the first floor and go to shoes. Some people, I'm some people, right? Macy's, we will park in the right door to make sure you get to where you need to go faster. I know where my men's and cologne department is and in my Macy's compared to where the women's shoe department is. So I will make sure I park near the entrance that is going to take me there because I'm not going to go in there and walk through the entire store. I'm not going to walk like park on the other side of the mall and walk through the entire thing. I'm going to already select where I need to be. So that's what like quizzes and anything you can do to help people select where they need to be, even if it's not a quiz, even the checklist, it's helping them to select, I did this, I did not do this. That's where I need to be. That's the department I need to be in. So think about your lead magnet that way. And honestly, when you start thinking about them that way, I think it makes them so much easier. Like y'all tell me, right? I probably should do a whole episode just on lead magnets. This is probably it, right? But it makes it so much easier when you give them something to select. So that's the end of today's episode, answering your question, what should be free versus paid versus lead, right? There is a difference. There's a difference in how it helps them, how people need it, and the type of content that you're going to give them. And the more you know this and keep them separate, it's going to make it easier for you to produce them. And it's definitely going to make them more effective to help people getting into the things that you want them to do in your business. So that is it for today's episode. I will talk to you guys later. Bye, guys. I didn't have my outro geared up. Hold on, guys.
It is business. Big business.
Thanks for listening to the Girl Get Visible podcast. I hope you've learned a lot about how to get your brand out of the sea of sameness and start to get visible. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the show, and let us know how much you enjoyed it and what you've learned from this episode of the Girl Get Visible podcast. I'll see you in the next episode.
Get visible.